What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So, as you've seen by the title, and you've probably heard already by now, Canelo has pied off Eddie Hearn and moved over to PBC for a free fight deal. And the original news came out, I think, on the 21st. It says, Canelo Alvarez, 22nd, sorry. Canelo has reportedly now signed a free fight deal with Haymon's PBC, starting by defending his undisputed WBA title against Jamal Charlo, likely on September 16th. And I can't lie, when I first heard this, we've heard so much rumours, Canelo and Bivol, Canelo and this guy, Canelo and that guy. I thought it was fake news. And then Canelo himself came out and said, done deal, see you soon, September 23, Premier Boxing Champions. So there's no more official than that. My thoughts on this, I mean, if Canelo's going to duck Bivol, there's no other play, bottom line. People, please don't forget this, yeah? Bivol offered Canelo to fight him at 168. That was the in-house fight to make with Eddie Hearn. Canelo said no, and he's run off to PBC. Why? I don't blame him. PBC is sweeter than Bivol. I don't think Canelo can beat Bivol. I don't think he thinks he can beat Bivol. That's what we know now for a fact. Because it's not a case of, well, Canelo's going to fight at cruiserweight or Canelo's going to fight at 160. He's fighting at 168. So why not fight Bivol at 168? We know why. Anyway, putting that to one side though, outside of the fact that Canelo's scared of Bivol, this is the next best place to be. Eddie Hearn don't have no one. I'm not even sure. Who does Eddie Hearn have at 168? No one. So, it's one of them ones. A needs must. Now, the Jamal Charlo fight, you know what? Let me give Canelo some credit here, actually. I'm being unfair here. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Dimitri Bivol has Canelo's soul. But, if we can try him, I mean, I find it hard to put that to one side. I feel as a true champion or an elite man or whatever, like Canelo should be, he should be focused on getting his soul back. That's how I feel in this game. You know what? You beat me. I need my soul back. Yeah? Dimitri Big Papito Bivol, I need my soul back. If you're only willing to give me that get back at 168, so be it. We never heard that from Canelo. Oh, it needs to be at 175. What, you got... What? Listen, Canelo has no chance. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, but genuinely, I'd bet the bank that Canelo can't do nothing apart from robbery. He might get a robbery decision, but apart from robbery, that's the only way Canelo can beat Bivol at 175. I'd even put money on Bivol beating Canelo at 168, but that's his chance. Drain Bivol down and get in there. But the reason Canelo didn't do that is because he don't want to lose his belts. And really, Bivol at that point would completely invalidate Canelo's legacy. He'd have nothing left, would he really? Yeah, he's second best at 168. You know what I mean? Okay, he beat Golovkin. He beat a 40-year-old Golovkin a few times. You know what I mean? And it would invalidate Canelo's legacy because it would show that there's levels to the game, bottom line. Do you know, you get that? If Bivol goes in there at 168 and does Canelo the same way, it will show there's levels, bottom line. And Canelo isn't that level we thought he was. That's what it would show, in my opinion. Let's not forget, people, this wasn't a case of it was a close fight. It wasn't close at all. The only man who looked dangerous or who looked consistent was Bivol. Yeah? And it's not often. I've seen Canelo in a close fight, for example, with Golovkin. Some people say Canelo lost the Golovkin fight. That was a close fight. You know what I'm saying? No one can sit there and say in any of the first two Golovkin-Canelo fights and say, oh, he was a level above. Both men were pretty much the same level. In that Bivol fight, it looked like levels to me. It looked like Canelo was a fighter and Bivol was a star. Anyway, let's focus now on the PBC side. The PBC side is easy for Canelo. I think Canelo beats Benavidez. I think he beat Charlo's small. Jamal Charlo hasn't fought for 18 months. He's inactive and he's small. And he's untested. I think Canelo washes him. Not stops him, but yeah. Canelo's too strong at them weights. at 168 versus small people. Do you get what I mean? I don't care. £8 isn't a small jump. Yeah? Charlo's going from... And bear in mind, his brother, who is his twin, is 154. So Jamal is already half blown up. Genetically speaking, there's no reason Jamal couldn't be at 154. Still. They're identical twins. You know what I'm saying? So he's already gone up to 160, and he's been inactive for 2 years, and now he's going up another £8. He food. He might have food. He a whole snack. Benavidez, I don't rate him. And it's a shame this has happened in a way, because I wanted to see the Benavidez versus... What's his name? I forgot his name now. The guy who's 9-0. I've done videos on it. I forgot his name. But David Morrell, that's it. I want to see that. It's not going to happen now. No chance. Benavidez is going to be sitting on his hands and fighting bums in between. If Canelo fights Jamal, Benavidez will fight a bum in December, and then maybe another bum as well before May. That's what... I think that's what they're saving it for. Because Benavidez, Cinco de Mayo, that's the big... I'm not a Mexican historian, but I think Cinco de Mayo is bigger than the September date. I don't know though, but maybe that's why they're saving Benavidez. Now, Benavidez, I don't think is he Mexican? I think Benavidez might be like... I don't think he's Mexican. I think he's something else. But Mike Tyson was calling him the Mexican monster, so I don't know. I think he's Latin... Either way, he's certainly Latin American or South American, whatever it is. So that'll be a big fight. But still, unless Canelo really wanes, I just don't rate Benavidez. I just don't rate him. I think Morrell would beat him, but we ain't going to see that now because Benavidez can get his payday. The third fight... Who's the third fight they've got lined up? Benavidez, Charlo... I'm not even sure who else there is. Who have they got? Jamal... There was some other name from... Oh, Errol Spence, that was it. If Spence beats Crawford... Errol Spence. But still... Yeah, Errol Spence is probably a 154 pounder now. But even if you say Errol Spence, who's fighting at 147, is a 154 pounder... You're going from 154 to 168. Listen, if Errol Spence, some people are saying, in fact quite a few people, I disagree, quite a few people are saying Errol Spence is going to knock out Terence Crawford. Or there's going to be definitely a knockout in the fight. If Errol Spence stops Crawford, obviously the case for the Canelo fight makes a lot more sense. In fact, it's the only way it makes sense, really. If Errol Spence somehow stops Crawford, rightly or wrongly, I will then see how he might have a chance of doing something with Canelo. That might be a watchable fight. But even if Errol Spence beats Crawford on points, there's just levels to the game. There's weight. Weight matters. Now, Errol Spence does have a big frame, and he would have time, I guess. If Spence beats Crawford... No, but Crawford and Spence will have a rematch. So they're busy for the next 6 months. 7 months from here. So Errol Spence would have a year between... Let's say Spence and Crawford fight again in June. Spence would have a year, potentially. Or would he? I'm not sure he would, actually. I'm not sure he would have a year. Because Canelo's got a 3-fight deal. September, May, September. He could extend it, though. So the third fight is going to have to be ready in 13 months. So Spence would only have 6 months to prepare for that fight. In terms of gaining weight or whatever else. Would I advise it? Well, it can't go any worse than Mikey Garcia and Spence went. Mikey Garcia jumped up from what was he, 140, I think, at the time? Or was he 135? Well, for sure, I think Mikey came from 130, but for sure, Mikey was at 140 or 135 and went to 147, and he didn't do nothing with Spence. So but I don't see Canelo stopping Spence, or even on his worst day. I don't see him getting a stoppage. I think Spence is got too much. What's the word? He's too tight. It's a bit like Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, he knew how to survive, and I believe Spence would know how to survive too. Jamal, really, I wouldn't bet on Canelo stopping any of them. Benavidez, Jamal, or Spence. But I don't see him losing any of them either. Do you get what I mean? I'd have Canelo favourite for all them fights. Because even if they beat Canelo, Even if they get a 113 win over Canelo, they ain't going to get it. Bivol won by 117, 112, and he got 115, 113. I don't see any of them. Them guys aren't big enough to do what Bivol did. Simple as that. But is it exciting? We'll find out. We'll know how much Canelo's faded. How good Jamal Charlo's completely untested. Benavidez, in my opinion, is completely untested. Errol Spence, we're going to find out how tested he is, kind of thing. So it's Errol Spence, that's not fair. Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, prime Kell Brook, and fair play to him. So Errol Spence is tested. He was losing, I think he lost the first 6 rounds against Brook, I'm going to be real. Or it was 6-1 or something like that. And he came back, and even against Ugas, he got rocked and he came back. So yeah, Errol Spence is tested, but Charlo and Benavidez are wide open. They're unknown quantities. But equally, that can make for an interesting fight, because maybe Canelo can stop these guys. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe. Fucking hell. And let off the bell, 100%, no doubt.